So today we're going to talk about taking care of ourselves when our energy is low. What do we do when our battery's drained, and how do we take care of ourselves? So we've all had those mornings when we wake up and we just want to pull the covers back over our head. We're just not here for it today, we are not feeling it, and we want to go back to bed. Sometimes that's because circumstances in our life, sometimes it's because our energy's low, and sometimes it's a combination of those two things. We're going to talk a little bit today about being aware of the things that are draining our energy, those things that might be within our control, that we can keep an eye on to take care of ourselves. So the first thing that we can ask ourselves is, am I prioritizing other people or other people's perceptions of me above taking care of myself? An example of this could be how we're perceived in our careers and wanting to be perceived as successful in our careers. When we prioritize that consistently over taking care of ourselves, it's a big energy drain. An example of this could be always being available by email and always getting back to email within an hour and setting up that precedent. Because we feel like that gives people the idea that we are successful and that we're on the ball. Another thing we can ask ourselves is, are there boundaries that need to be put in place or boundaries that have moved that I can adjust as a way of taking care of myself? So continuing the example from before, that might look like not answering email after 8 p.m. or not checking our phones first thing in the morning, so we can start our day with some intention and so we can finish our day by taking care of ourselves. Another thing that we can look at is, are there ways of thinking or are there narratives going on that are draining my energy? Some of those can look like comparing ourselves to other people, or when we get the idea that something should be happening or we should be a certain way, that we're not. I call this a case of having the shoulds. And anytime I hear the word should come up, my little therapist antennas go up, because I always ask myself, says who? So if I feel like I shouldn't be depressed, or I should be more successful in my career, says who? Where are those messages coming from? That might be coming from society. They might be old messages from our families of origin, from our friends or our community. So we can look at those things without judging them, but holding them up to the light, we can see, does that make sense for me? Does that fit in with my values? Or is that something that is somebody else's perception that I've taken on and that drains my energy because I'm constantly feeling like I'm not living up to some standard and I'm not able to be present in my life? So these are just some ways to look at keeping an eye on things that drain our energy. Next week we'll look at things that renew our energy, making sure that we're plugged into things that fill us back up and make us excited to get up in the morning. Thanks for watching.